Hey guys! So today is day number 11 of Inktober, and this is the first time so far that I found myself starting to lose a little bit of steam. I'm still enjoying it, but this morning was a little bit rough. Because when I have to make a video, I have to make sure that I'm doing the illustration early enough in the day that I'm able to record and edit and export the same video. So I did manage to get through that rut, and I thought it would be interesting if I shared a few tips and tricks I use to help myself draw and get motivated to draw when I'm not really in the mood. And the first tip I have is less about how to make yourself draw when you're not motivated and more about how to keep yourself motivated so you don't lose your steam. And this is to create a routine and incorporate your art into that routine. Now, this morning, I felt like something was off and I wasn't sure what it was, but I was feeling extremely unmotivated. However, after I had pushed past it and did my illustration, I realized I had never taken a shower. I had done everything else that was a part of my morning routine, but I had left out one thing. And it was enough, I think, to throw me off. This can also apply to the work itself. It doesn't have to apply to where you fit it in. For example, when I sit down to create artwork, I typically have a hot drink and I play music. And those two things become triggers in a way to help you get in the mindset of, okay, I'm going to draw right now. And I actually do this with all of my work. It's not exclusively drawing. It's just if I have a drink and music, I'm doing work. So it's kind of a little mind game that you can play with yourself to trick you into feeling like doing something. Another thing you can do, which is kind of like another mind game, is to tell yourself you're only going to draw for 5 minutes. And it doesn't matter if you know you have a whole illustration you need to do. That's what I had this morning. I knew I wanted to do something that was probably going to take about an hour and 15 minutes. But I told myself, okay, I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to get my drink and I'm going to get my music and I'm only going to draw for 5 minutes. And after those 5 minutes were up, I wasn't 100% into it, but I could feel myself starting to relax and enjoy the process more than I thought I was going to. Most of the time, starting is half the battle, and so telling yourself that you're only going to do something for a very short period of time. It doesn't even have to be 5 minutes, it can be 2 minutes. That sort of gets your brain in the mindset of, okay, 2 minutes, that's easy, I can do that. And then if you're still not feeling it after 5-10 minutes, you can stop. You know, it's not about forcing yourself to draw for hours and hours every day. Personally, I believe that there are benefits to drawing every day. I've seen results in my own artwork from the constant practice. But not all days are going to be as easygoing as all other days. And so it's okay if one day you only draw for 5 or 10 minutes. It's enough to keep you from breaking your streak. And a lot of the time you will get into it and you'll start to enjoy the process more. Another thing that I think affected me specifically with this piece and held me back in a sense is that I wasn't completely happy with the sketch. And this was due to a lack of development. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, that piece was extremely well thought out and I had been considering it for days on end. And this was also sort of steeping, but there was a lot I hadn't figured out, but I didn't have any other ideas, so I kind of rushed it. And a lot of the time, if you're trying to draw something that you're not quite happy with, or you're not quite comfortable with the way it looks in the beginning stages, it can be hard to make yourself finish it. And in this case, I do like the way the finished piece turned out. I think my main aversion to it was simply that there were some composition problems that could have been fixed with more thumbnailing and more sketching and more conceptualization. But also the fact that the sketch was very, very messy and it was hard to see really what was going on. And sometimes if you push past your initial discomfort, you can end up with a result that you're happy with, but it's not going to be as enjoyable as when you have a sketch that you're really, really excited about. Draw things that you like. Draw things that interest you, and don't try to force yourself 24/7 to push yourself. It's okay to relax and doodle things that you know how to draw to get your motivation up. And that's kind of another tip, I guess, is to warm up and make sure that you're kind of reminding yourself that you can draw. Or if you believe that you can't draw, just sketch some circles or some lines and just get familiar with the tools and get yourself into a place where you're ready to try something new. Another thing you can do in order to motivate yourself is take your sketchbook and put on a movie or a TV series and just doodle while you're watching your show. The things you create don't have to be perfect, but it is a good way to start ideas rolling and to start conceptualizing and to develop ideas that you maybe wouldn't have come up with if it were not for the outside influence of the movie or TV show. And personally, I wouldn't recommend this so much for more finished pieces. Some people might be able to, but personally, I need to be alone with my music and my drink in order to create finished pieces of artwork. But for just sketching and getting ideas out, taking some time to relax and just have fun with it is always a bonus and makes the drawing more enjoyable in and of itself. And the last tip I have is one that I actually used today, and this is to give yourself a reward. And this doesn't have to be a monetary reward. You don't have to buy something. It can be something as simple as, I'm going to take a bath when I'm done with this. I'm going to read for 30 minutes when I'm done with this. In my case, I wanted to play Destiny 2. I didn't get to play it yesterday, so I was really getting antsy. And so I told myself, okay, once I'm done with this, I can play Destiny 2 for a couple of hours before I record the voiceover. And I just finished playing Destiny 2. And this is another kind of mind game, I guess. For me, a lot of motivation is not actual motivation so much as it is tricking myself into thinking I'm motivated. And maybe there are some people that are naturally motivated, but I'm not one of those people. I tend to procrastinate hardcore, and it really comes back to bite me sometimes. And I'm sure many of you are in the same boat as I am. So I hope these tips were helpful to you in some way. If you have any tips of your own on how you stay motivated, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'm leaving links to the supplies used, as well as my Etsy shop, in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.